Gracias. Ja Rastafari. Ja Rastafari. Ja Rastafari. The only reason why I say that is because, one, the Ring of Solomon is still in Rita Mars. Reagan Freeway. If none of you don't know this by now, all the way out here, the freak. No, cheeseburger is basically just, he needs a, somebody to clean up his language before he speaks. He doesn't use autocorrect on any of his tweets, and he needs a bunch of liars to cover his lying ass, okay? But we're not even going to go there right now. We have to go for what's underneath the out of existence. And when the Republican Party says they want to take money from out of that, trust me, all of you guys that are sitting out there working right now, y'all's about to be broke, just like me, okay? Luckily, I have other means of supporting myself. One is making sure that my nonprofit basically gets its funding, by the public, if anything. And if I can't get it from the public and so forth, guess what? I'm not going back to work just to satisfy some jackass who's gonna not value my time. Okay? I work for me. End the story. But when you got house Negroes sitting in the White House, it almost makes it just that freaking, it makes it that much more prevalent. Coming from the Washington Post, HUD Secretary, Ben, I still fall asleep at every damn meeting because somebody gave me some Resperol, okay, Carson, to propose tripling rent for some low-income Americans receiving federal housing subsidies. If you want to do the research, people, do something stupid, okay? Proposed legislation would require congressional approval. You know what's going to happen? This is going to go right through. Now, this sounds like something that came from out of Arkansas a couple of years back when, say, the landlords can own the property, but it's up to you to keep up their property and pay rent on time. There's no debtor's prison, but this is going to push more people out into the street. 4.5 million people. Take about a third of that and you're going to add to the homeless condition that we do have in this country. It's very smart, if I might say. Now, tenants generally pay 30% of their adjusted income towards rent or a public housing minimum rent. And that is capped at $50 a month for the poorest families. There are a lot of poor families that don't live in ghettos. There are poor families living in rural districts, farming communities. Okay, so you're interrupting with my peas and rice, right? You are interrupting you're interrupting my broccoli. You're interrupting my spinach. I can't be Popeye without it. E. coli my foot. All right. The administrator's legislative proposal sets the family monthly rent contribution at 35% of the gross income or 35% of their earnings, working 15 hours a week at a federal minimum wage of 7 and up. Okay, so this work to welfare program thing, working 15 hours for yourself. Ding! Okay? So therefore, the reforms require adults, okay, who are able to work to shoulder more of their housing costs and provide incentive to increase their earnings. Okay, first and foremost, this is like a dichotomy of bullshit. It is. If you're requiring adults who are able to work to shoulder more of their housing costs, and you're asking them on the flip side of it that that you guys are gonna provide an incentive, okay, then if they gotta pay $150, 3 times more than what they're paying, then the minimum wage has better be $20 an hour instead of this. How many people out there watch Jerry Springer? Thank you. Childcare costs. That's garbage. That's garbage, okay? That is because landlords were dirt landlords, scum landlords, okay? They didn't want to fix up the place. Here, you go live in it. We don't care. And it didn't matter. I mean, when I was growing up, we lived in the slums, okay? We lived in slums that were slummier than some slums, okay? And if you spell slums backwards and so forth, those Muslim slums. Oh my God, I said something horrible. But you get what I'm saying here, right? And if you don't, and you just think, oh, well, it's just the way things are, it's what needs to be happening. I'm like, come on. Corporations have been getting kickbacks for a minute. And now this tax season, they ran with it. And then to make it so bad, the Republicans are sitting up there lying about this $1.9 trillion deficit that they just added on to the deficit that was already here. Who's going to be paying for that? I ain't paying federal taxes next year. Fuck the government. Straight up. Fuck that. I'm not supporting the decimation of people. I'm not supporting, this country if it's going to look like this toward poor people, people of color, people who are basically having mental health issues. Burger. Now, the reason why I call him Cheeseburger is because he looked like he'd been under a tanning booth for quite some time. He still is. But Cheeseburger his hands to himself and thanks his warrant of arrest as migrant caravans reach the U.S. border. Against these people to seek asylum, what do you want them to do? Sit there and die? And feathered you in front of the White House. Then you, it's all in the universe. It gets out there, everybody connects. The timing of the migrants, a rough rapid coming relation to Leslie Nielsen, said her agency was monitoring the caravan and would prosecute Africa to Afghanistan to Thailand. Come on, you got all these. Some of the best poppy fields are made in Thailand, okay? Because it's right there on the. I think he's doing a great job, and that's the majority. Migrants began on Tuesday at the shelter. That was a 5-minute walk from the border within sight of the border, with bowls of food gazing over the road towards the United States. The wall doesn't look that tall, said Kimberly George, a 15-year-old girl from Honduras, nodding towards the stunted barriers only a few feet away. I really want to cross it. Migrants said they fled their homes in Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras because of death threats from gangs, the murder of family members, or political persecution. Come on. We suffer that here every single freaking day. You don't see too many people leaving them out of here, except for Matt Damon, who probably went to Australia because he didn't like the politics here. Unfortunately, the politics in Australia are not that much better either. Okay? They're probably more racist than anything else because they put their refugees, they see refugees trying to get there, and they say, no, you can't, we will shoot you. We will we'll send you right back into the ocean and watch you drown. So what? All right? Moving from town to town, the migrant caravan became a stumbling block for the United States-Mexico relations after Cheeseburger unleashed a series of tweets early April pressuring Mexican authorities to stop them. Stop them! Stop them! Stop them! I'm the ruler of the free world. I'm king of the mountain. Look, ma! Look, ma! Jeezy freaking creep. I would like to take a 2x4 with some thumbtacks and maple syrup and smash his mouth with it. Lovely. Satan all together. Yay! Was strangled near to death and raped. Come on, he said, and he held out his phone with photos of Washington, D.C. Mexican Foreign Minister Luis Videgaray met with Homeland Security Chief Nielsen to discuss Central American migrants. At least a truckload, okay? And I even went down to, I think there's like, we have like, pretty much a Mexican cultural store, it's grocery store. Individuals of the caravan seeking asylum and other similar claims should seek actions in the first safe countries that, they show you that, oh, it's safe here. They don't show you the ghettos where they put. Other organizations are simply explaining to vulnerable people what rights they have. Immigration could affect the talks and the update in the United States Capitol, where ministers from Mexico, Canada, and the United States rushed over here. You are sleeping in the freaking light. So whether she and her daughter should stick with the group. Now that I'm here, I'm afraid to cross the border. Think about it, people. What would you do in that particular sense? If, say, like, you were trying to, get out of the United States before it becomes like an isolationist, territory. Okay, what would happen? Okay, basically, you would lose your grip. You would lose your grip on reality. We've had makeshift television shows, Twilight Zones, all the way up to like, whose brother is this? Whatever. Okay, Big Brother, something like that. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is this: you cannot stop the progress of life at all. You cannot suspend life. You cannot dictate how life grows. The best you can do is assist it to be better. And if we can't do that as a model of what we do here, then it's obvious, and I mean severely obvious, that this is a very fascist, racist nation that does nothing more than exploit people for their ideals, their creativity, you know, their youth, everything. And if we keep doing this, America is not only eating its young, America is also eating anything else up that's left on the damn plate, scraps and all. But since we do have a little bit of time here, this is the KTNG sucker punch. Become a little bit more agnostic here with me. All right, you know what he says, hide your nuts. Okay. I don't know. I don't mean no harm or any disrespect to the LGBT community, but I find it very, very, very gay. This man by his hand. He has this hands thing going on, people. And you can tell that Macron's hands and Cheeseburger's hands almost match because they're both small-handed men. But after charm offensive in Washington, main conduit between American and the European, genuinely intense, or at least keep him from being a global system he often deplores. Ugh. Usually a touchy-feely relationship with Cheeseburger, with English, and the policies he was advocating, the compelling political moment, raising the need for a new 21st century world order. 21st century, okay. Personally, if you ask me, I don't share this fascination for new. What's the difference? Come on. These are European people. They're a little easier to rip off black communities and black countries and so forth. Shithole countries, for that matter. Okay? So he argued that the global system that America had invented nationalism. This is coming from out of World War II. Here we are in 2018, and okay, so where's the hand on the atomic clock right about now? Y'all ain't looking, right? The rains from the nuclear fallout. Gotta love that. Macron said that this requires more than ever the United States involvement, as your role was decisive for creating and safeguarding this program, regional influence, and an eventual nuclear activity. Wow, I didn't know these things came with a 30-day notice. Okay, I thought these things were like should honor the existing pact under the agreement from the. France will not leave the JCPOA because of the speech